Hello again, my dear buddy little dreamer. Tonight, we're traveling to a place where time itself is alive, where seconds tick with magic and hours hold secrets. Are you ready to hear about the wonders of a magical clock tower? Snuggle under your blanket, close your eyes, and let's begin our tale. The Clock Tower of Evermore. In the heart of the bustling town of Evermore, where cobblestone streets twisted like ribbons and lanterns glowed softly at night, stood a towering clock tower. It wasn't just any clock tower, it was said to be the oldest and most magical clock in the entire kingdom. Its golden hands never faltered, its chimes sang melodies that warmed the coldest hearts, and its gears spun with a rhythm that felt alive. People from all over visited the clock tower to admire its beauty. But only a few knew its secret. The Clock Tower of Evermore controlled the flow of time. At the very top of the tower lived its keeper, an eccentric old woman named Madam Seraphina. She was as mysterious as the clock itself, with her flowing silver hair, robes covered in shimmering stars, and a staff carved from ancient wood. Seraphina's job was to guard the clock's magic, ensuring that time flowed smoothly. One morning, a young girl named Alara wandered into the clock tower. Alara had always been fascinated by time. She loved watching the shadows move across the streets, listening to the clock's chimes, and imagining what it would be like to control time itself. The townspeople often whispered about Madam Seraphina, saying she was strange and strict. But Alara wasn't afraid. She climbed the winding staircase, her small footsteps echoing, until she reached the top. "Hello?" Alara called softly. Madam Seraphina turned from the enormous golden gears she was inspecting. Her eyes sparkled like the night sky. "Ah, a curious visitor. What brings you here, child?" Alara hesitated. "I wanted to see the magic for myself." "Is it true you can control time?" Seraphina chuckled. "Not control, my dear. Protect. Time is like a river, it flows, and my job is to keep it from breaking its banks." Alara stepped closer, staring at the massive gears and glowing clock face. "Can anyone learn to protect time?" Seraphina tilted her head. "Perhaps. But it requires great responsibility. Time is not something to play with." "I'd like to learn," Alara said, her voice steady. Seraphina studied her for a long moment, then smiled. "Very well. But first, let me tell you the rules of time." Alara became Seraphina's apprentice, learning how to wind the great clock's gears, polish its golden face, and listen to the whispers of time itself. She learned that time was woven with magic threads, each thread representing a moment. If one thread was pulled too tightly or left loose, time could unravel, causing chaos. For months, Alara trained diligently, earning Seraphina's trust. But one day, something unusual happened. The clock's chimes stopped mid-ring, and the golden hands froze. "What's happening?" Alara asked, alarmed. Seraphina's face darkened. "The thread of tomorrow has been stolen." "Stolen? By who?" "By Tempest," Seraphina said, her voice heavy. "He was my apprentice long ago, but his greed for power corrupted him. If he has the thread of tomorrow, he can change the future, or stop it altogether." Alara's heart raced. "We have to stop him." Guided by Seraphina, Alara set off on a journey to retrieve the thread of tomorrow. She carried a small pocket watch infused with the clock tower's magic. "This watch will guide you," Seraphina told her. "Trust it, and it will show you the way." Alara followed the watch's ticking, which grew louder as she ventured into the woods beyond Evermore. She climbed mountains, crossed rivers, and passed through misty valleys, all while the watch's ticking grew stronger. Finally, she reached a dark cave at the base of a jagged cliff. Inside, she found Tempest, a tall figure cloaked in shadows, holding the glowing thread of tomorrow. "You shouldn't be here, little girl," Tempest said, his voice like a low rumble. "I'm here to take back the thread," Alara said firmly. "You can't control the future, it's not yours to own." Tempest laughed. "Why not? With this thread, I can create a perfect world. No more mistakes, no more regrets. Don't you see? I'm fixing time." Alara stepped closer, her heart pounding. "But mistakes are part of life. Without them, we can't grow or learn. If you change the future, you'll unravel everything." Tempest hesitated for a moment, but then his grip on the thread tightened. "You don't understand," he growled. "I've seen what's coming, and it's full of pain. I won't let it happen." Alara thought quickly. "What if you give me the thread, and we fix it together? You don't have to do this alone." Tempest looked at her, his shadowy figure trembling. "You'd help me?" "Yes," Alara said softly. "Time isn't something to fear, it's something to protect. Like Seraphina taught me." After a long pause, Tempest handed her the glowing thread. The moment Alara touched it, warmth filled the cave, and the air seemed to hum with magic. Alara wound the thread carefully into her pocket watch, which glowed brightly. "Come with me," she said to Tempest. "Seraphina will forgive you." Tempest nodded, and together they returned to the clock tower. When they arrived, Seraphina was waiting, her eyes filled with relief. "You've done well, Alara," she said, embracing her apprentice. She looked at Tempest and smiled gently. "And you found your way back." "I'm sorry," Tempest said. "I thought I was protecting the future, but I almost destroyed it." Seraphina placed a hand on his shoulder. "The fact that you returned shows there's hope for you yet." Together, they restored the thread of tomorrow to its place in the great clock. As the hands began to move again, the chimes rang out, filling the town with a melody of peace. From that day on, Alara continued her training, knowing that one day she would become the next keeper of time. And Tempest, humbled by his mistakes, became a trusted ally in protecting the magic of the clock tower. And now, my dear little buddy dreamer, remember this, time is a precious gift. Cherish every moment, even the little ones, for they are the threads that weave the story of your life. Good night, and sleep tight.